Welcome to Crawl or No Crawl. This is Carolyn Holzman. Today is January 15th, day number 499 in this research. Now, reminder, forensic SEO training starts this week on January 19th. So for details, if you want to try and get in before it starts, go to forensicseotraining.com. And this is a live training, and I'm mixing it up, so even those that are returning are going to hear new information. Please don't get commonplace on your comments. I will have some updated assessments from the research this week, and it's not just that tomorrow is day 500. So get your mimosas ready, people. Now, if you saw the high volatility in semrush yesterday, boy, that was pretty high, right? But just remember, updates take weeks and weeks to roll out, and this was 24 hours. So don't automatically assume that red means down. I have one very solid SEO keyword I've been working on, competing with the likes of Search Engine Journal and Majestic, and competing in the top 3. So my page is being tested upwards. That's volatility, folks. So I think we unnecessarily put our nervous systems in red alert when we see it. But so far, from what I'm seeing, it's behaving like a data dump. And it's also another data point to my theory that Search Console is a swinging door, and that when they're pushing out this data transfer from their supplemental index into the filtered and curated primary index that we can see, at the same time, they aren't crawling to pick up more content. You'll see that when I show you the bot activity. Now, for those who have no idea what this is an indexation research project testing how long it takes new content from published to being findable. There are 2 test sites. One is the original one and a new one. Now, the original one is a primary desktop crawler, and that's the D there. And the new one is a primary mobile crawler. Let me show you where you can find out what your sites are. When you go into Search Console, go to the index section on the left-hand side. You see a column. Click on Pages. It'll open up a new window. And on that window, you'll see the graph, like how many pages of yours are indexed, how many are not. And above that, you will see either that you are a primary desktop crawler or a primary smartphone or mobile crawler. So we don't really know why, because Google makes these designations. So I'm just telling you where to find it to see what your site is. All right, now Google has told us that they perform 2 passes on our content. So that's why there are 2 lines here with the dates on them. Okay, so like today is the 15th. And there's a simple pass where they grab all the HTML. That's a discovery crawl, or it's a discovery crawl. And the second pass is to capture all the pieces of the page, the JavaScript, images, other scripts like schema and all that kind of stuff. And that's when they do a full render discovery crawl, like they pull the HTML, simple, and then the second pass is to pull all the pieces so they can recreate it on their side. Now they take all that data and they convert our pages into HTML. The engineers call those protocol buffers. I'm not making that up. And I do like Ted Kabatis' reference to think of these protocol buffers as our content's permanent record on a page-by-page basis. Yes. So if you've ever picked up a domain that was previously an indexed website with content, if you look in the server logs, you're going to see that the Googlebots come looking specifically for specific URLs, specific pages from that old site. Now, I have no idea how long they hold those records, but it's not hard to imagine that this is probably what adds to the difficulty in scaling. So with these protocol buffers and all of the software pieces converted in HTML, it's the same kind of thing like when you have lots of data from various sources and you're trying to get them all into a single spreadsheet, that you're going to have to kind of normalize some of that data so that it goes into whichever column it's supposed to go into and doesn't get mixed up and so forth and so on. And they have to do that at what I believe is, only way to describe it is unimaginable scale. Now, the simple keyword, that there's 2 keywords on each test page. The simple one, it's simply, when it's found, when I search for it, it answers the question whether or not Google has performed the first pass. The JavaScript keyword, which is the second keyword on this page, when it's found, when I test to see if it's published, finding that JavaScript keyword answers the question whether or not Google has performed the rendering pass, the second pass. The only time that Google is going to see that keyword is if it puts it together after rendering, because it's wrapped in a little JavaScript script. And of course, this whole thing, Google engineers have told us that the entire indexing system is comprised of 3 separate systems, and they've confirmed that here on their search status dashboard: crawling, indexing, and serving. Now, for years, we've used the term indexing as the same as essentially what serving looks like, which is where we find our content by our keyword, not the site colon thing or in quotes or anything like that, but when we find it by the keywords. And at some point, between indexing and serving or being findable, Google's going to run its algorithm for the content and sorting, and keywords are assigned, and they assign the keywords they think, right? Which is sometimes good for us because we can discover new keywords that way when we look in the Search Console. So hopefully we left the right breadcrumbs and signals so we get into our desired search results. Now, what we've found here is Google is a machine. It is a machine that breaks. And the testing has revealed the path to getting into the index by bypassing the Search Console request index button earlier last year. When that path changes, this testing will know. And we'll be able to poke around and figure out the next way to get into the index or how to be findable. And it has also taught me that there is only one door into Google's index. There is one door, and there are times when Google shuts that door. All right, so looking at the data log, I just want to show you, we found some new content this morning. It was, you can see here, it was the test page. It was published on Friday. Now, all of our sites are hooked into the Search Console, and we had a Search Console update here, and it's been updated to the 13th. Now, all of our sites, all of them, are hooked into the same thing, and you should see the same date when you go to your pages section. When you go in here and you see this date, last updated, so it should read 1/13/2023. Now, if you don't see the same date, refresh. And if you still don't see the same date after that refresh, please take a screenshot and send it to me along with the way I can contact you. Now, right now, as you can see here, all of this indicates, this line, that these are test days, and I'm testing 7 days a week. So if you need a quick, short cheat sheet, this is on American Way Media. It's called the Google Index Detector. And so you can see here, this is for the primary desktop crawler site, and this was updated this morning. The last time we found new content was January 7th. The last time we found the JavaScript that a page had gone through the second pass on the desktop site was the 13th, and I have confirmed as recently as this morning that there are mobile rendering bots crawling the site. Yes, so here we go for simple indexing. We've found obviously the 2 pieces of content today, and so far I'm pretty sure this is a yes. I forgot to update that part, so I'll go back and fix that. Here, what's down here is to give you some sort of context, so don't freak out just because you see red, okay? Now, as you can see, the primary desktop crawler is feeling a little left out. And this is why I add the third column, is because we need to know, is Google render crawling or not? So I keep talking about them. Let's look at the bots. This is as of, let's see, the 13th, yes, we have a new mobile Chrome Googlebot, and it showed itself first time on Friday. And you can see here, I've left some of the zeros in, looking at the day where it was such a high reading. It was really only the bots that have, in the desktop bots, that have no Chrome. They were not pulling anything. And this little guy doesn't really render anything. He typically just pulls the HTML. And it wasn't that much activity. So that's what I mean about, when Google is pushing everything out, the direction was from them pushing out into the index, not from the index being crawled and pulled back into them for sorting. All right, that's it. Thanks to everybody who's continuing to send in the Confessions of an SEO podcast Season 2 survey. This week's content, topic, I should say, on Confessions of an SEO turned into a rant about how prevalent FOMO is in our pursuit of SEO understanding, and why I'm deliberately doing things to keep things out of the podcast that might trigger that. All right, well, great. Thank you so much. Thanks for letting me have a few more minutes of your time this morning. If you have any questions, comments, observations, please use the comments. Thank you, guys. Bye.